If you're unfamiliar with film critic Bob Chipman, alias Moviebob, then I'd recommend you have a look at his reviews and videos, some of which can be found on his YouTube page. He's very entertaining and insightful, definitely one of the best critics online. Next to a series really that good, I thoroughly enjoy one called How to Fix, where he looks at a franchise and how he would approach them if he had the chance to. His best one has to be How to Fix the Fantastic Four. Brilliant foundations, and I love to see those movies. In the spirit of How to Fix, I thought I might bite the bullet and give my ideas too regarding motion pictures, television shows, etc. and potentially write the scripts because I'm such a dork. So to begin with, the first episode of Conor Pitches discusses what I'd do in a made-up world where I have been given the opportunity to pen the last ever James Bond feature film. James Bond has been around for 55 years, 24 films, 6 actors, and 2 timelines. Imagine if you can that Eon Productions and MGM have exhausted all feature film possibilities, and they figure the only option left is to stop 007 for good. How does CJ go about crafting James Bond's last mission? Before the titles roll, it might be nice to see the original black and white gun barrel symbolising the good old days. Then we go into a prologue. James Bond in his prime. Not ancient, but mid-30s, early 40s. He's on a secret mission infiltrating a notorious criminal's base of operations. Bond makes it through alright. Once he gets to the boss, the unexpected happens. James Bond gets shot thrice and is bleeding heavily. Baddie thinks he has won, but 007, in adrenaline-fueled rage, runs at the man, knocking him through a window onto the hard ground. Our hero has been taken by surprise, and a combination of gunshot wounds and a fall from a great height leave him in a daze. He runs off before losing consciousness. Bond wakes up in a hospital after weeks and weeks of major surgery, and M informs him via video call that he was saved by a fellow agent and was closer to death than he's ever been before. Bond, on the spur of the moment, resigns. Big shock. Opening credits. If you think that's an awful lot like how Batman Beyond debuted, then you're right, and it's definitely an influence on the journey that this will take. I know it's not as important to the overall product, but the title for the film just has to be Goodbye Mr. Bond. It's too good to resist. You just have to do it. After the opening titles, we time cut to Mr. Bond in his apartment. It's been over 5 years since the trauma that dented his enthusiasm for the Secret Service. He sits around doing nothing, getting intoxicated on vodka martinis, can't even be arsed to get them shaken, not stirred. He gets a phone call where he's informed his CIA counterpart and best friend Felix Leiter has passed away. Normal James travels to America for the funeral where he reminisces. It has a big effect on him. I am following the original timeline, so Leiter did get fed to the shark license to kill and subsequently retired. But the plot has to go somewhere, and a staff member of MI6 approaches James Bond, inviting him to M's second house in the US. Obviously the character would show up to an equally important character's funeral. Bond's pretty pissed off with this and wants to be left alone, but reluctantly agrees. He's taken by surprise when he discovers M is now Moneypenny, posthumously granting Lois Maxwell's wish to become head of MI6. Bond is informed that supervillain criminal Damocles has obtained sensitive government information that could seriously discredit the Secret Service if it were released. James is requested to return to MI6, where he'll have his license to kill and rank as 007 renewed. Bond agrees on one condition. This is the last time ever. But why would they ask middle-aged James Bond? He's the last person they'll expect, as he has officially retired, so his return is off the record. Bond gets back into shape, and before getting on a plane pays his respects to Tracy from On Her Majesty's Secret Service. I might dislike the film, that may well be a review where I'll tell all, I'll give good reasons, but not now. Yet, I can't deny the ending has some impact, and it would work to acknowledge it. Equally poignant a moment could be James struggling to wrap his head around the newest technology in Q Branch. Q himself having retired or moved on to some other path, his assistant taking over. And you know how it goes. Bond's back, he goes to some exotic countries to track down baddie Damocles. He beats up, kills some thugs, and runs into a henchman with a gimmick. Red Hate in this case, who has a stigmata and X above his right brow. But where does the Bond girl come into this? Give out to me all you want, but Sylvia Trench is the leading lady. Let's give this character her proper main cast film appearance. She's no longer in the background of Dr. No and From Russia with Love. She's the first on-screen Bond girl. Let's finish it with her. The two meet at an unexpected moment, and over the course of the film revive their relationship. James Bond, as guilty as he feels, considers her to be the one. She follows him to Act 3, where the villain is revealed. Damocles is actually a disillusioned high-up in the Secret Service, who chose to steal the documents because of a nihilistic view that the only progress left in the world is to tear down the old ways by force. Bond confronts Damocles and kills him after learning from the pre-credits teaser to always expect the unexpected. Bond takes the documents, is tempted to read them, but ultimately destroys them. The Walter PPK-2 is binned, and James mutters to himself, "Goodbye, Mr. Bond." Bond and Sylvia Trench get married, and as they're driving off, Red Hate follows. He ambushes the two, but in a massive catharsis, James Bond is ready, and he takes out Red Hate in a kick-arse way. So at the end of all of it, James Bond and Sylvia are happily married. They walk along Westminster Bridge, and our last shot is a freeze frame of Bond in front of an Aston Martin DB5. Perfect. My intention of this story is that it shouldn't be about disappointment and despair like Logan was. The picture should have poignant moments, like I've outlined, and one or two dark scenes, but my overall message is that Bond's life, despite the direction it's gone, can have a positive resolution or closure. Ian Fleming was smart enough to renege on 007's death, so James Bond doesn't pop his clogs blowing up Spectre or some shit like that. No, Wolverine can get a cold and nasty demise, but Super Spy James should not. Logan was lightning in a bottle, and like Bob said, it should not be repeated. Instead, take note of Alan Moore's one-off Superman story, Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow, which is a sublime work of art and a meaningful end of an era as much as it is a tribute to it. That's what I'd want to accomplish. I hope you've enjoyed the video.